We just passed our installation inspection on this next new construction home build project, and thus far, I've spent $118,000 to get to this point. Here's the cost breakdown. So here I have my spreadsheet with all of my numbers for this project, including estimated expenses such as projected costs, as well as the expenses that we have already paid out, right? So here I can see that our excavation and clearing, which was initially done when we first started the project, that cost me $14,288. So a separate cost that they factored in also was doing the footing for my foundation wall. And because they gave me a great deal on this, I decided to go with them as well. And that cost me $5,600. However, the company that installs my footing or pour my footing for the foundation is not the same company that does the masonry work to build the foundation wall and install my piers, basically. So that company to install my masonry wall as well as the piers for our foundation was $8,400. Now, this included all of the materials needed and the labor. And one of the things that I always do on our foundation walls is parge it. And parging is basically when we take the mortar that we use for the foundation wall and basically gluing the blocks together, we spread that across the surface so it gives a consistent texture around your entire foundation wall. So after our foundation wall is done, we're ready to start framing. I've worked with the same framing crew on all of my projects. And to frame this 1,320 square foot home, they charged me $6,580. And that was not including the materials. My material package that I ordered was $18,088. Now, while that may seem like a lot for my framing package, that also included my windows, my exterior doors, all of my roofing shingles, as well as the bathtub even. And the reason I do it and combined all these items into one order is because I get a volume discount by doing so and I pay one delivery fee. Along with the framing package as well as the framing labor, I had to place the order for our engineered roof truss system. And this cost me $3,371. And these again are custom designed for your floor plan, and I work with the same company to do that as well. After the framing is done, we get ready to start our trades, and that includes our plumbing, electrical, and HVAC. And again, even for these scopes of work, I work with the same contractors. So we have a great working relationship as well as, we work to make sure pricing is fair for both parties. For our electrical scope, it cost me $5,520 so far. And that is only for the rough end. And what I mean by rough end is basically all the initial wiring, boxes, and cans that we install prior to doing drywall. Now, this price included the labor and material to do so. And on his final trim out scope, he'll also be providing all of the lights, such as the recess lights. But I personally will have to provide all of our extra light fixtures, such as the light over the island or any special lights that we want in the bedrooms. For my plumbing scope so far, I spent $4,350. And again, this includes all of the materials and labors for the rough in phase. So things such as my tubs, I had to personally purchase. But all of the plumbing lines, all of the fittings that are used to connect together, any plugs that they need for testing, they provided these things. The other thing that they also provided, and which is why I like working with this company, is they supply all of the valves I need, unless it's a specialty valve. So what I mean by that is all of our standard tub valves that you see here, they include those in their scope of work. But for our primary bedroom shower, that is a specialty valve because I like the ones that come with the handle. So I buy that entire kit and they use the valve out of it and they install it as part of their scope. The next scope of work was my HVAC scope or HVAC scope. And for that rough end phase so far, it cost me $5,200. So again, rough end is any work that is done prior to our drywall being installed. And so for the HVAC scope, it includes running all of our duct lines, putting in all of our vents, in the locations that they'll be, and any of their line set, which is the line that runs from the indoor unit to the outdoor unit. So all of those things cost me $5,200. After passing our framing and rough end inspection, I scheduled my installation crew to come out, and this cost me $4,350. And they insulate all of our exterior walls, as well as they go ahead and do under the crawl space, do between the floor joists, and then they do some areas of the attic. However, when they come back at the end of the project towards the completion of the project, they'll do blow-in insulation in our attic. So as of now, I've spent $4,350. The other part that we had to do prior to doing our framing inspection is the front porch framing. The initial framing portion of the front porch, such as the band board, the joist, and even this post, is included in my framing contractor scope. And that is solely because he has to install these posts here prior to putting on the roof. And so I include that in their scope. However, I have to pay a separate contractor to do the finishing. And they put on the decking boards, they put the PVC trim that you see here, as well as install our stairs and our railing. Now, that cost me $2,680. However, I purchased the material for that. So 1,000 of that money was the actual material, but the other $1,680 was their labor to install it. After getting our framing done, I had my roofing contractor to come out and install the ice shield as well as the underlayment. And then after getting that inspected, I had him come back one more time and install all of the shingles as well as the ridge vents and other miscellaneous pipe boots. So for his labor to do that was $1,650. And again, I worked with him several times on multiple projects. They always deliver high quality. And again, we work together to come up with a price that makes sense for both of us. So now that all of these scopes are completed and completion of roughing, we're ready to install our drywall. And so as you see here, we've already had our drywall delivered and I've had a crew bring it in. So my cost so far for the drywall has been $4,452. And this included all of my drywall material as well as some of my trim material. And again, the reason I order these things together is I want to consolidate my number of orders and get the highest volume discount as possible. So this was just the drywall labor, the drywall material cost, but my drywall labor to hang as well as finish this entire house is $2,650. My total build cost is estimated to be $230,000 for this home build. And as I mentioned, I've already spent $118,000. So this leaves me a total of $112,000 plus or minus to complete this project. Stay tuned and continue to follow and subscribe to see how this project turns out and see if I stay under my costs or if I actually go over costs. See you guys.